Yo, what's up? I love plugins. Synthesizers, generators, effects, anything that makes a sound or makes things sound cool, I'm all for it. They're the tools in every producer's toolbox that make our job possible. My hands look like this, so hers can look like this. And it's really interesting to see how people's preference on plugins can help us define our own unique sound, because limitations lead to creative outlet. Today, I'm just gonna make a beat and I'm gonna use some great free plugins. This video is also kind of a rehash of an old video I did 5 years ago. So this is gonna be fun to revisit. I'm gonna start off with plugins that you can use as a staple in your workflow and work my way into some more sillier plugins. You know, I'm in a silly, goofy mood. I'm feeling like Silly and Murphy right now, just trying to have a grand old time. But before we get into it, I do want to talk about our sponsor, lalal.ai. Lalal.ai is a music separation service that can split a single audio file into vocals and instrumentals. It can detect the vocals in a song, and it uses AI to extract them from the file. This service is super helpful for producers, musicians, DJs, and many other creative artists, and it's simple to use. All you have to do is put in the audio you want to split, let it extract the vocals, and it separates it just like that. I've used this program before on the channel, and it comes in super clutch if you want to sample songs that you don't have official acapellas for. But that's not all the service can do. You can also use it to clean up vocals if there's a lot of background noise, or even splice the different instruments in the audio, like drums, strings, basses, and guitars. So if you're looking for some stems, look no further, lalal.ai is here to help. If you want to try it out, I'll have a link for it in the description. Let's start off with some awesome free plugins. I'm going to start off with this free plugin called Sync Varier. It's a simple synth plugin with a lot of different waveforms to choose from. It's got a bunch of simple waveforms or even some really crazy harmonic ones. It's great for quick soft melodies and chord progressions, or if you want to make some creepy sound design. And dude, this UI is like super trippy. For my track, I'm using it to play this chord progression. The next really dope plugin is Surge, a super powerful 3-oscillator synth. I've been using this plugin for a few years now, and it's great at a ton of different uses: synth leads, pads, or even some dubstep growls. And there's just so many presets for it, it's great for everything, like these supersaws I'm going to use in my beat. I'm lumping the next two VSTs together because I'm using both of them on my instance of Surge: Flux Mini 2 and Fresh Air. Flux Mini 2 is the free version of Flux 2, but it still gives you a ton of control. It works as a volume controller, but you can adjust the LFO to get some really cool sounds. This plugin works great for sidechaining or even some crazy LFO wobbles. For my track, I'm going to use an automation to control the wobble speed. Next, I added Fresh Air, an additive EQ that simply brings out the highs in a sound. I like it because it's very simple and clean, like the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's great to use on vocals, or in my case, I'm using it on a synth. I'm also using a couple stock plugins here and there, of course, Stereo Shaper, EQ, and Reverb. Let's get into some of the more silly VSTs. The first one is simply called My First Synth. It's a simple mono synth with a GUI handmade with love. It's got very simple functions, and it's pretty much the bare minimum of a synth. And because this is a mono synth, I can't play chords on it, so I'm just going to use it to play the bass line for the intro of my song. I'm going to add some effects to beef it up, like Soundgodizer and a Stereo Shaper. The next silly plugin is Sora Boy by Shadow Sora. Sora Boy is a pretty interesting synth. It's designed to make those classical plucky chiptune synths, just like your favorite handheld game console. And I'm sure a plugin like this can come in super clutch if you're working on video game music or even some chiptune stuff. I ended up using it with this cool little heart switch that makes it a little more plucky, and I made an arpeggio with the chords. And I'm saving the silliest plugin for last: Crazy Sampling's Pringles Kit. Yeah, this plugin's pretty cool. I like the product placement on it, and it's actually made from sampling an actual Pringles can. Now, if you're looking at this, it's pretty much a percussive VST, but what makes this plugin so cool is the onboard effects. If you turn up the distortion and reverb a little bit, you can get this cool, airy tonal percussion. And I use that to play this nice little counter melody. I know I'm talking about free plugins in this video, but the drums are not free, at least not yet. A lot of the drums in this video are coming from a new drum kit that I'm working on. You'll hear more about it later. But yeah, the drums don't really matter. You can use whatever you want. But mine are pretty simple. I'm just using a hi-hat, a clap, and a hard kick. I'm also going to add this separate hi-hat loop for later. And this nice, tasty snare roll. Lastly is the 808, and I made 2 separate patterns for it. I'm going to wrap up the beat using these cymbals and this riser as transitions. And this acapella from a Yeet song I got courtesy of lalal.ai. All I did was add an EQ and some bit crusher to it. And when you put all of these sounds together, here's the final beat.